Everyone, I am Devi. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this learning video, we are going to learn about statistics, chapter 2, measure of location and spread. Come, let's learn it in a beautiful way. All right. Ready? Yes. Okay. All right. So here in this chapter 2, measure of location and spread. So what are the topics that we are going to learn, which is going to be types of data, measure of central tendency. What are the types of measure of central tendency? Other measure of locations, measure of spread, variance, and standard deviation, coding. So these are the 6 topics that we are going to learn in this particular video. All right, let's first jump into the first topic, which is types of data. All right, basically, what is a types of data, right? So we have two types of data. Number one is qualitative data, and number two is quantitative data. So what is a qualitative data? So qualitative data is a non-numerical data. And then what is a quantitative data? So which is a numerical data, which is the numerical data. So in quantitative data, which will be based on observations. This data is based on observation, and then the quantitative data, which will be based on counting and measurements. Now, coming to the qualitative data. So under qualitative data based on observations, it involves 5 senses. Number one, which is going to be what we see, right? And then after seeing, what do you feel, right? Whether you feel cold, hot, it can be anything, right? And then it can be after seeing, you will feel it, and then you will taste it, right? The food, right? First thing you will see, you will feel, and then you will taste. After tasting, what is your next? You can hear this, hear the noise outside. So these are some of the 5 basic senses. So, and then see, taste, hear, smell. Wow, the food taste so amazing, and then the smell of the food is really very good, right? And then now, so based on the quantitative data, so there are 2 types of quantitative data. That is, number one is going to be discrete data, and number two is the continuous data. Yes. So what is our discrete data? So discrete data which are counted, which can be counted, and continuous data is measured. Okay. So under discrete data, what are the examples? Examples, let's say you have 8 dogs in a street, right? So you cannot have 8.5 dogs in a street, right? So there are 4 men in a family, right? So you cannot have 4.5 men in a family, right? And then these are some of the examples of discrete data. So what is a continuous data? So which is measured. So for example, you can say the distance between 2 points, distance between the 2 points, let's say 5.5 meter distance. It can have decimals, it can be any number, right? So which is measurable basically. And also speed. Okay, speed of the car is 100 kilometer per hour, right? So these are, and then weight of the body. I am going to weight 400 pound, 500 pound, right? So this is what all about the discontinuous data. So now let us quickly recap. So there are two types of data in statistics, which is qualitative data and quantitative data. So qualitative data or the non-numerical data, and quantitative data is a numerical data. So based on the observations, these data are being based. And then here it is going to be based on the counting and measurements, the quantitative data. So the qualitative data involves five basic senses, which is see, feel, taste, hear, and smell. And then quantitative data based on two types. So which is a discrete data and continuous data. So what is a discrete data? So which can be counted, and then continuous data, which can be measured. All right, so example for discrete data, which is 8 dogs. So you cannot have 8.5 dogs or four members in an 4 men in a family. You cannot have 4.5 men or 2.5 men. So that is not going to be possible. So which is called as a discrete data, which is counted. And then for example, for the continuous data, which is going to be a measurable data. So distance, we can measure it, speed, we can measure it, speed, let's can be 55, 56, 43. So any number, it can be, it is a measurable. So weight of the body, we can say 500 pounds, 400 pounds. So this is the all about a types of data. So now we will see some of the examples of types of data what we have learned. Here is the questions for the types of data. So the first question here, state whether the each following is a variable, is a continuous or discrete. So sprint times for 100-meter race. So we have a 100-meter race, which is basically a distance, which is a measurable quantity. So we call that as what type of data, which is a continuous data, because measurable data are called was continuous data. Length, okay, length is also again measurable, right? So which is again a continuous data. So the one data which is measurable, which are continuous data, which is not measurable, which we call it as a discrete data. So number of 10 cents coins in a bag. Okay, so 10 cents, okay, let's say you have let's say 100 cents coin. So you cannot have 100.5 cents coins. So we cannot break the coins into two. So which is not a value, right? So we can say it is a discrete data. And then here, number of boys in a family. So it can be 4 or 5. It can be a number 4.5. It is not possible. So which is again a discrete data. Yes. So I hope this example is very clear about continuous data and discrete data. So continuous data are measurable data, discrete data or the data which is can be counted. Okay. So I hope it is very easy and clear. Now let's move on to the next topic. So topic 1 was types of data. There are two types, qualitative and quantitative data, such which is very clear with an example. So let's move on to the next topic, which is 2.2, measure of central tendency. So basically, we have a measure of central tendency can be of three types. What are those measure of central tendency? Three types, which is going to be mean, median, and mode. Yes. Now, so what is a mean? A mean is basically denoted by the letter x bar, and then we have a total average. Let's say if you have a mean for the raw data, which is going to be summation f by the total number of observations, and then this is for the raw data, and then the frequency data. If the frequencies are given, so you're going to use this equation for the mean to calculate. So that is x bar, which is summation of fx divided by summation of f, the total frequency, and then we have to multiply frequency with the class width. All right. So what is a median? So median is Q2, which is equal to nth value upon 2, which is basically the middle value of the given equation. So which will always comes like we have to arrange them in an ascending order, and then we have to do that. So that is the condition. And then if you don't arrange them in an ascending order, your answer is going to be wrong. So that we will see in the past papers. All right. Now, if there are two conditions, if that is a decimal, okay, if the median is a decimal, so we will have to round up. Okay. If you get around, let's say 5.65, we'll round it off to 6. Okay. And then if it is a whole number, let's say 13, so you have to add 1 and divide by 2. Okay. So basically we will take an average. Yes, if it is a whole number, we have to add 1 and divide it by 2. So we will see in the numerical. Okay. So mode is going to be the most repeated value. Okay. So repeated value will be our mode. Let's see in numerical. So in case of mode, we have to be very cautious. Mode, you don't see, if you see the frequency, let's say highest frequency is 46. So your mode cannot be 46. Okay. So for the corresponding, okay, the class width. Okay. So that will be your mode. Okay. So class width, okay, let's say you have 36. So the class width is going to be your mode. Okay. Don't make wrong. Okay, we have highest frequency is 46. That is 46 is going to be mode. No, for that corresponding, we have to see the class width. Okay, let's see one numerical based on measure of central tendency. Okay. So here is the first question of measure of central tendency, which is based on mean, median, and mode. All the questions are together. Let's see. So first example, which is Lee V records the shirt collar size, which is X. The male student of the in this year. Okay, so the results are shown in the table. For these data, find number 1 mode, and then we have to find median, and then also we have to find the mean, and then also explain why a shirt manufacturer might use mode when planning a production numbers. Okay, all right. So let us see first value. Okay, so for these data, so find the mode. Okay, so for part A, mode, right? So to calculate mode, as we discussed, mode is going to be what? Most repeated value, right? So repeated value. So it is how to find out. So first you will have to find highest frequency, highest. Look for the highest frequency. For that corresponding class width. Okay, corresponding class width will be our mode. So here, if you notice, so the highest frequency is 34, and then for that corresponding is going to be our mode. So don't say the frequency is going to be mode. No, frequency is the number. Okay. So all right. So here our mode will be 16.5. So mode is going to be, so the highest frequency is 34, right? So for that, what is the corresponding value? 16.5. So that is going to be our mode. So mode is going to be how much? 16.5. So I hope it is very clear. Now, coming to the B part, median. To calculate median, we need to be very cautious. Okay. So first, to find the median, so we need to find the, that is our CF. Okay. So which is called a cumulative frequency. So what is our cumulative frequency? First, we will write 3 as it is, and then we'll add up these two. So what is 17 plus 3, which is going to be 20. So 20 plus 29, which is going to be 49. So 49 plus 34. So 49 plus 34. So 9, 3, 1, 5, 5 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, so 83. 83, so 83 plus 12, which is going to be 95. So our total, this is what our cumulative frequency. So we can see the total number of observation is how much is 95. So 95 is the total. Okay, so we can either add or we can find the cumulative frequency. So what is our total, which is nth value divided by 2, right? So here, what is our nth value, which is 95, but here we cannot divide 95. So since it's a whole number, right? So whole number, since our, as I mentioned, whole number, so we have to add 1 and divide by 2, which is basically we have to take an average. So 95 plus 1 divided by 2, which is going to be 96 upon 2, which is going to be 48th value. So this is not going to be our median. Okay, so we have to look at here, which is where the median will be in between these two, right? So we have to see 49th. So 49th observation. Okay, so we have to see. Okay, so here you'll have 20 and 49. So 49 will be the highest value and 20 will be the least value, but our median will be what? In between the 20th and 48th value. So our 49th value, we have to see the highest value. So for 49th value, what is the corresponding number, which is 16. So this is going to be our median. So what is our median? So median is going to be 16. So I hope you have understood. For the cumulative frequency, we have to see the highest cumulative frequency. For that, what is the corresponding value? That is going to be our median, which is 16. I hope it is very clear. Yes. Okay. Now coming to the mean. So mean is, so we have to find total fx divided by sigma f. So already we know what is our total frequency is going to be 95. So we know that total, when you add all of these, will get 95. And then when you add all of these class widths, so what we are going to get is close to okay, so we have to multiply 15 times 3 and 15 times. Okay, so let us make a table also, otherwise you can just do this. So 15 times 3, all right. So 15 times 3 plus 15.5 times 17 plus 16 times 29. So if you have doubt, you can just erase this point, right? And then you can see it very clearly. And then you can use the parenthesis between each of these. Okay. And then we have next is 16 times 29. And then 16.5 times 34. And then plus 17 times 12. Whole thing divided by 95. Okay. So which is going to be, you can use the parenthesis everywhere. Yes. And then if you add all of these, so we are going to get close to that, which is going to be 1537.5 divided by 95. So which is going to be 16.2. Okay, so this is going to be our mean. So mean is going to be 16.2. So you have to use the calculator and get the value. So mean is going to be 16.2, and then our median is 16, and then our mode is going to be 16.5. So you can see, explain why a shirt manufacturer might use the mode when planning production numbers. Because here the highest value is obviously mode, the most repeated value, and then which will be what? Most common size. So which is, we can see the most common size, which a manufacturer will always prefer, right? So we can say the word most common size which the manufacturer would always prefer, so therefore he prefers mode, and again which is the highest value again too. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Yes, so we will also come up with more number of questions and remaining topics in the next video. So hope you all enjoyed. Thank you.